Okay, so today we're going to jump into something a little bit different,
Hmm.
something that you might have seen pop up on your YouTube feed.
Oh, yeah.
This is a video called Here's Why I Don't Trust Slow Walkers.
Ooh.
It's from a creator called Armani Talks. And yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, but that title alone kind of makes me go, hmm.
Yeah, when you first sent this over and suggested we do a deep dive on it, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Really? Walking
Right.
speed and trustworthiness. But then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, well, yeah, okay, I can see how those things could maybe get connected in people's minds.
Right. And the thing is, this video, it's not just about like, oh, I'm annoyed because I'm stuck behind a slow walker on the sidewalk.
Right.
This is about making deeper judgments. You know?
Yeah, character
Yeah,
judgments.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's like, whoa, hold on a second. Are we really judging people's entire character based on how fast they walk?
Yeah, interesting.
So we've got some of the highlights from the transcript here.
Uh-huh.
So what we're going to try to do today is really unpack this.
Okay.
Like, what is the reasoning behind these claims? What are the actual arguments that this video is making that connect how fast or slow someone walks to whether or not they seem competent or enthusiastic or even trustworthy?
All right, well, let's start with the scenario that Armani Talks lays out.
Okay.
The situation that kind of leads him to this conclusion.
So he talks about these encounters where initially everything seems good. You know, you've got good eye contact, a firm handshake,
Yeah,
all the stuff that typically makes a positive first impression.
sure, the classic signs.
Exactly. And then the interaction's over, the person walks away, and he notices that they're walking slowly.
And that changes everything.
It seems to, yeah, it's almost like that one observation just overrides all those initial positive cues.
It's like that's the thing that really sticks in his mind.
And it makes you think about, like, all those different signals we pick up on in those first few seconds of meeting someone.
Oh, right.
Which ones really carry the most weight?
And are we even aware of how we're ranking them in our heads,
Yeah, subconscious judgments and all that.
Exactly.
So to illustrate this point, he even gives this specific example.
Oh, okay.
He's expecting someone for a meeting at 1 p.m., and they're running late.
Okay.
So the person texts and says, hey, I'm on my way.
Uh-huh.
But when they finally arrive, it's not just that they're late. It's that they're walking so slowly.
Interesting.
And it's not like they were just taking a leisurely stroll.
Yeah.
This was like a slow, deliberate walk when they're already late for a meeting.
See, that's where the context really comes into play, doesn't it? Like walking slowly through a park on a Sunday afternoon, that's one thing.
Right.
But when you're expected to be somewhere at a specific time with a purpose, it hits different.
It totally does. And he takes this even further.
Okay.
He actually compares walking slowly to slouching.
Huh.
He argues that, like, how slouching can make people take you less seriously and maybe perceive you as less competent.
Yeah, I've heard that.
He thinks slow walking does the same thing.
Interesting.
He even throws out a number. He says both slouching and slow walking can reduce your perceived competence by like 25%.
25%. Wow, he's very specific.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's like he's done the
It
research.
sounds like it.
But it's interesting what he's basically saying is that both those actions convey a lack of something right.
Yeah, like a lack of enthusiasm or purpose, maybe.
Right, and that's what leads to this negative judgment.
Exactly. He says, I'm quoting here, when you are walking and you are dragging your feet, you have no enthusiasm behind these steps. You don't show that you want to be going where you're going.
So it's all about the energy you're putting out there.
Yeah, like, are you moving with intention?
Huh.
Or are you just kind of dragging yourself along?
And are we really wired to equate a faster pace with more enthusiasm and therefore more competence?
It makes you wonder, right?
It does.
So to counter this perceived lack of enthusiasm, he offers up this, what he calls a mental hack.
Oh, a mental hack.
He calls it the $50 billion check scenario.
What is that?
Okay, so imagine this. You're walking to pick up a check for $50 billion.
Okay, I'm imagining it, yeah.
Huge amount of money, right?
It is.
And the idea is that just by visualizing that scenario,
Okay.
you're going to naturally start walking with more purpose and more urgency.
So you're going to speed up.
Exactly. It's about using your imagination to kind of trick yourself into walking faster.
That's a pretty vivid image, I gotta say.
Yeah, it is. And the contrast he draws between, like, dragging your feet and walking with that kind of intention, it's pretty striking.
Yeah.
It really highlights how much our mindset can influence our physical behavior.
It does.
And then he kind of shifts gears a little bit.
Okay.
He starts talking about sidewalk etiquette.
Sidewalk etiquette.
Yeah, like he talks about how frustrating it can be to get stuck behind slow walkers who are kind of meandering all over the place,
Uh-huh.
maybe even zigzagging,
Yeah.
you know?
Oh, yeah, I've seen those people.
And he says, This can be especially annoying for people who have big dreams and are trying to get somewhere.
So people who are walking with purpose.
Right, and he even suggests that slow walkers should stay in the slow lane on the sidewalk.
The slow lane.
I know it's kind of a funny image.
It is, yeah.
But I think he's trying to make a point about being mindful of others in shared spaces.
Yeah, like that slow walking can be seen as inconsiderate, especially if you're holding other people up.
Exactly.
Interesting.
And, of course, as soon as he starts talking about this, you can almost hear people going, but what about people with disabilities?
Right, like people who can't walk fast for health reasons.
Exactly. And to his credit, he does address that.
Okay, good.
He's very clear that his observations and conclusions are specifically about able-bodied young men.
Okay, so that narrows it down quite a bit.
It does.
He's not trying to make a blanket statement about everyone who walks slowly,
No, not at all.
but he is focusing on this specific demographic and how their walking speed might be interpreted in certain contexts.
Right.
Okay.
And then he introduces this idea of an aura.
An aura. Okay.
Yeah. He says that walking quickly and with purpose creates this positive aura. It projects confidence and capability.
So it's like an energy that you're giving off.
Yeah, and he contrasts that with slow walkers who, in his view, don't have that same energetic presence.
Interesting.
So it all circles back to his initial point, right?
That slow walking signals a lack of clear goals.
It ultimately can make people perceive you as less trustworthy or competent.
And again, specifically within this demographic of able-bodied young men.
Yes, exactly. So this wasn't just some fringe idea. This perspective was definitely circulating.
Okay, so let's recap here.
Right.
What would you say are the key arguments that Armani Talks is making in this video?
Well, I think he's basically saying that how fast you walk, especially in professional settings or public spaces, sends a strong nonverbal message.
Okay.
He's comparing slow walking to slouching, saying it can make you seem less competent. He sees it as a sign of low enthusiasm, lack of purpose.
Okay.
And he's got that $50 billion check exercise to help people walk faster and with more intention.
Right, the mental hack.
Exactly. He also talks about how slow, meandering walking can be inconsiderate to others.
The sidewalk etiquette piece.
Right. And while he does acknowledge that some people might walk slowly for health reasons, he's really focusing his critique on able-bodied individuals.
Okay.
And lastly, he believes that a faster, more decisive walk projects this positive aura of confidence and capability that slow walkers just don't have.
So the takeaway here is that our walking speed isn't just some neutral physical action, it's a form of nonverbal communication.
Exactly. And it can really affect how people perceive us, our competence, our enthusiasm, even our consideration for others.
It's pretty fascinating.
It really is. So I guess the question for you, the listener, is this. Now that you've heard all of this, how do you find yourself interpreting the walking speed of other people? And what about your own walking speed? What kind of impression do you think you're giving off? It's definitely something to think about the next time you're out and about.
I know. I will be paying more attention now. That's for sure. Food for thought.
It is. And that's our deep dive for today.
Until next time.
See ya.
Bye.